Why is that still playing? There we go. Okay, sorry. I don't know why the countdown video doubled up on me there. Hmm. My audio's fucked up right now. Guys, if you're watching this, could you just comment and let me know if that sounds fucked up? I'm your host, Caleb Teskey. I got a wicked delay in my headphones. Yeah, I do want to apologize. I got a couple of cancellations last week. I have rescheduled with Leslie Angle King. Hopefully, she's coming on Sunday. I've got Tantu Cardinal. Had to reschedule with Tantu. We had some connection issues. I was kind of bummed about that. It's really sucked to have Tantu on. But we've got some great guests coming up. Cryo Cure. I also had to cancel with Cryo Cure. Hopefully, we can get them back on. Coming up, we've got Christian from Ratu here in Vermont. I've got Nick Heilig on Friday the 24th. I've got Joel Bedard on the 26th. That's going to be killer. I've been in touch with Elliot Lewis out in California from Catalyst. If you guys haven't been following Elliot, thank you, Tara. I sound sick. Yeah, I'm a little congested. Yeah. I got Doughboy Geraldo on the 30th of November. And without further ado, I do have some nice herb here I'm smoking on from Patrick Walsh at Mount Grona, Vermont, up in Elmore here. Patrick's a great guy, growing some really killer herb. And yeah, thanks, Patrick. Got my hickory stick there. Yeah, and we got another great interview for you today. You know, I want to thank everybody who tuned in to the last few. You know, we've had some really good guests on here. And here we go again. Boom. Wait, I'm supposed to put you over there. There we go. It's Dustin Hoxworth, the founder and creator of Fat Nugs Magazine. Dustin, thank you so much for being here tonight, man.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, Caleb.
Now, I'm having a little delay in my audio. It's repeating everything. So, yeah, so bear with me if I'm a little stupid.
Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries.
Okay. Before we do anything serious, would you give us a 5-minute life story?
5-minute life story. Sure. I'm going to actually do this to coincide with the actual magazine itself. So I grew up in St. Louis, first 10 years of my life there. And in doing so, I had a very large military family background. 22 family members at least, is probably more at this point, are either in the military now or they're veterans. When a lot of my uncles, my family was coming back, when they were coming back from Vietnam, you know, we had a lot of PTSD in my family. Obviously, nobody knew it was PTSD back then. But, you know, when you see and hear stories about your uncles diving behind the couch or a chair or into a bush or whatever when a helicopter flies over, obviously, it's not just your crazy Uncle Glenn. There's a fucking reason for that, right? So weed was smoked in my family. It was normalized. We always knew it was around. We never thought it was any big deal. There were times where my brother and I would be in the back seat and parents are smoking in the car while they're driving. It was just the way it was back then. And my brother and I would be like, ha, 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 you smell that, you know? So it was never really a big deal for us. I also grew up with an indigenous stepfather for 9 years. He was a consumer, and let's just say I saw a plant or two around the house. When I went to college, I went to Georgia Southern University, and to help me pay for my school, I ran pounds from Atlanta, Georgia down to Georgia Southern for years in the 90s. And so basically that's kind of the short of it. Grew up in St. Louis, moved to Atlanta, and have been sort of involved with weed my entire life in some capacity. And that's kind of what's brought me here. That's about it, brother. Caleb, you still there?
I am.
Dope.
My audio is still fucked up, but I'm still here. Yep.
You sound great, by the way. You do sound a little sick, a little stuffy.
No, I have an echo going, and it's like overlapping. It's very strange.
It's probably hard to keep up with, I'm sure.
Yep, accurate.
So that's
wanna
basically my life story, brother.
yeah, I'd like to ask you about a couple of your influences. Here's Penny Lane. Hey, there's the man.
Hey, Penny.
Okay, thanks for tuning in, Penny. Um, what I wanted to ask about was a few of the magazines, I sniped this off an interview that you did, previously, but one of the magazines I'd like to ask you about was, Thrasher.
Yeah. So Thrasher Mag, I was a little skater punk when I was in middle school. And the one thing that kind of stuck out to me was when you looked at Thrasher, there was always like a dude doing a McTwist in your face, double page layout or some shit like that. And that made an impression on me, obviously. And I always wanted to be Tony Hawk when I was a kid who didn't, right? So Thrasher Magazine was kind of everything. And that's not the only one. You know, Mad Magazine was another one.
Hey, don't jump the gun.
Sorry. Go for it, dude. So yeah, Thrasher Magazine was definitely important. I still have my Caballero that I ride up and down the hallways here in my loft. So even though I'm damn close to 50 years old, I still get on that board every once in a while and try not to kill myself.
Yeah, you and Tony.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
The other one was, and there's another one, but Mad Magazine was next on my list. I'd like to ask you how that sort of influenced your life.
Yeah. So the story goes really, as a kid, always walking through grocery stores with my mom, and always going to the magazine rack, or as you're standing in line to check out, Mad Magazine was always there. And I remember the big-eared, freckled, red-haired, goofy-looking dude on front, always kind of caught my attention. And then inside the magazine, it was always really dope sketches. And there was spy versus spy. You could fold pages together and get new scenes and stuff like that. And so it made an impression. It was something that was really artistic, right? And I was like, holy shit, this is really cool. And you don't see stuff like that. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. And still to this day, it's pretty rare to see stuff like that. And by the way, I still follow Thrasher Magazine on socials and Mad Magazine on socials.
The spy versus spy stuff was fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. And there were cartoons made from that.
Mm-hmm. And they were killer. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was a video game for Nintendo.
And you still see costumes to this day of spy versus spy. So it's made an enormous impression in our culture, I guess, our communities.
Mm-hmm. And I fixed the audio, thank God. I had the YouTube video playing on another window, and that's what was feeding back. Fantastic. Yeah. And here I'm supposed to slap this every so often. Hey, I'm here with Dustin Hoxworth from Fat Nugs Magazine. Bang. Okay, so obviously the other one is High Times. I feel like anybody who's doing weed magazines probably has a bit of a background in looking at High Time. I know I certainly do.
Of course.
That was where it all began, I believe. And I'd like to hear a little bit about that too.
Yeah, of course. In the late 80s, early 90s, if you had your hands on a High Times as a teenager, you were fucking cool, right? That's just what it was. So obviously seeing beautiful buds and shit back in that time was a privilege. And getting your hands on an actual High Times was not easy either. You had to sneak it, or you had to have someone that was old enough to buy it, right? It was in a covered slip, just like Playboys and Hustler and all of that kind of stuff. And that's where you found it next to as well. So it was one of those things that was definitely cool as a teenager. If you had your hands on one, yeah, you had friends.
Yeah. And like just centerfolds of giant nuggets. Like it does belong next to the Playboy, because that shit was sexy.
Right. I am with you, dude. Nothing like a centerfold, man. I wonder, man, it would be really cool to bring that back at some point,
Mm-hmm.
It really would.
Wink, wink.
Hey, you never know, dude. You never know.
I'd like to sort of transition and ask you a little bit about how you decided to start up your own cannabis publication here, and what made you, obviously you've had these influences, but what was the moment where you decided, hey, we're gonna fucking do this now?
Yeah, that's a good question. And there's really not just one moment, but there were several things that kind of happened. And a lot of it really started by accident. I saw something I really didn't like. And instead of bitch moaning and complaining about it, which is something I do well, I decided to take it and make it my own. In doing so, and I'm not going to say exactly what that is, but in doing so, what that did was it sparked something. And I was like, that was really fun. So what ended up happening, and really where I developed the magazine itself, was I was just sitting on the couch one night, stoned as normal, and looking for a creative dump, so to speak. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but I've written and released 3 albums on my own. I do a little painting, blah, blah, blah. So, and I've been in bands, most of my adult life in some form.
What do you play, Dustin?
Several different instruments, but guitar is probably my main thingy. I started with percussion. So anything percussion minus piano. I couldn't play a lick of piano if I had to. Not good anyway. So anyway, sitting on the couch, always looking for some kind of creative dump and something to do while being stoned, and being creative while being stoned is kind of my thing. So on my phone, I started to create the first cover of Fat Nugs Magazine. And when I was done, I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. Well, I used it. I posted it on a Friday on LinkedIn, and I built this entire thing on LinkedIn, by the way. And I did so on purpose. And we can talk about why at some point, but I posted it on a Friday, called it Fat Nugs Friday. And really it was a way for me just to have some fun with my network and connections, and have conversations about the titles of things that I was putting on the front cover. That's all it was. It was just kind of starting out as me having fun, trying to have some conversation with my network. That was it. And the very first one blew up on me. So much so that I couldn't even catch up to the DMs on LinkedIn. I was like, holy shit, I broke LinkedIn. This is fucking crazy. So, and most of it was, how do I find this? Where is this? Is this real? Can you send this to me? How much does it cost? And I was like, wow, this is fucking crazy, dude. So for probably 2, 3, 4 days after I posted the very first one, I was having continuous conversations. And I was like, well, that was pretty dope. So I did it again the next Friday, made a new cover while I'm sitting on my couch doing nothing, that kind of stuff. Called it Fat Nugs Friday, and it happened again. People loved it. And I was like, cool, man, I get to fucking have a dope ass conversation with all these folks. This is really neat,
There you go. Aussie Kai loves it. Fat Nug Friday.
Hell yeah. Fat Nugs Friday. Absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we got Penny Lane. Do it, Dustin. We got Chef Rodney. Thank you guys all for tuning in. And we got Tara. Thanks, Tara. High Times lit my fire. Yeah, cool.
Hell yeah.
Carry on, sir.
So after the third one, so I was obviously having fun just after the first 2 that I'd posted Friday, back to back. The third one came. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing this. And that was all it was intending to do, was have conversations with my network. But after the third one, I had 2 cannabis media focused companies come to me and say, hey, we would love to bring this in-house. And I was like, bring what in-house? This isn't real. Like, this doesn't exist. I'm just having fun. This isn't a magazine. There are no articles connected to this. None of it is real. Having those conversations along with a few others told me that I was doing something that needed to be done, that it was filling sort of a gap that we have in this industry, that some publications that we really loved from back in the day kind of left 10 to 15 years ago, whenever that occurred. So I figured, you know what? Why the fuck not? And from that point, and really it was February 1st, basically, of 2 years ago. So this coming February will be 2 full years when I started to create Fat Nugs. It took me from February to May 6th of that year to release the very first digital edition of Fat Nugs Magazine. So it took a few months to get there. But once I had decided to do it, we were able to do it. It sure as fuck wasn't easy. I can tell you that. And a lot of people hated me, but we're here.
What do you mean by that? A lot of people hated you. Would you care to expand on that?
Oh yeah, the way that I'm doing this. So we're all volunteers. I don't have any money. This was made as just to be something as, you know, I was sitting on the couch, right? I didn't intend this to be this grandiose kind of thing that it's sort of turning into. So it was very much, hey, if you can do this, come with me and let's do this and let's have some fun. But in the meantime, it was also work, right? And it's not easy to do. So, and plus I was doing all the art. I was trying to build rapport with writers. I was trying to find people to come in and work with me on the editing portion and all of those kinds of things. That shit is not easy. And people obviously deserve to be paid for work. Me too. I would love to be paid for my artistic work. That would be dope. Are you kidding me? But in sort of helping build this thing, what's happened is that we've taken a tiny little idea of something that could be and turned it into something that people absolutely love. And it's because we're doing it from where we came from plant first. Our the one thing that we fucking focus on here, dude, is uplifting the plant into its rightful place into society, period. And because we take that sort of approach, it lends itself to people's ears in an authentic way. We get to tell stories through authentic journalism and badass art. And that's what we do. Everybody here at this place is a fucking artist in some shape or form, a writer in some way. And we all have just kind of banded together. It hasn't been easy. It's been a ton of fucking nonsense, you know, here and there, just like everything and everyone's got to deal with in this space. The team that we have has been able to overcome a lot of shit to now produce what I believe is one of the dopest things in this industry when it comes to media. I'm probably biased, obviously, because I'm in here working on it, right? But at the same time, there's not a lot of other things that you can compare to it at this point. And honestly, we don't even have any competition. I don't look at anybody in this space as competition at all. We're doing this as a platform for the community to be able to come out and have some fun, talk about the things that they love and they're fucking passionate about. And that's what we're doing. For the first time ever, we've always been volunteers here, dude, always. But for the first time ever through the music edition, and this is how much we're growing, and I think we're doing it in the right way. The team, the entire team, including our fucking writers that are in the publication, in the music edition, we all got paid for the first time. The entire team. It's never fucking happened. So 2 years in.
Tara told me that on the phone earlier. I was going to sneak that in as a secret question, but you beat me to the punch.
Sorry, dude. It's a big fucking deal around here because we've been doing everything that we can, man. We really are in trying to create revenue streams that are authentic. We're not bullshitting people. We're not lying to you. We're bringing something that people love to be a part of. And it's turned into something to where, yeah, we're still volunteers, but holy shit, if we continue to do this right and in the right way, we'll slowly grow into the publication that it deserves to be.
I got a couple comments for you, Dustin, if you don't mind.
Oh shit, here we go.
Here's Tara. Not a question, but a statement. Dustin is a cool dude that actually supports women and all humans. He is very understanding and can have a real conversation, work through real shit, built a good team. Thanks, Tara.
Appreciate that, Tara. That's not easy. And Tara and I have, you know, we've gone at each other before, as a matter of fact, but I think a lot of times, but I think a lot of times in a creative, collaborative environment, you have things that you really feel for, right? You know, in a real collaborative environment where you're putting out your best and your work and your flavors and your emotions are in your work. You know, those are the things that I love. That's the passion. That's the love. That shit is real. And, you know, she's right. We're able to talk. This team is able to talk through stuff. We have people on the team that are fucking amazing at talking through things and helping out. And dude, I'm the first person to tell you that I suck at communicating sometimes. I really do. And it's because I'm overwhelmed a lot, I think. So I'm sometimes quick to react instead of thinking through things a lot, even though I don't mean to be that way, obviously, and it's not an excuse. But luckily, the fucking team that we have here, one, it's women driven, right? We have four women and 2 dudes, or I'm sorry, 5 women and 2 dudes at this point. And everyone here sort of takes a back seat to each other. We all support each other. We all help each other. We all are here making art. We're all here doing reviews. We're all helping as much as we can. So I think that collaborative environment helps to really get through and talk through hurdles and stuff that kind of get in our way.
Now, you mentioned that you kind of posted this on LinkedIn and it blew up right off the bat. And I'm curious if maybe I wanted to ask you how you started to assemble your team and source your stories and things of that nature, because, I'm involved in a little bit of journalism myself, and, finding people that you can trust to work with can be challenging, in my opinion.
Yeah, extremely. And I've been burned a few times, but you know what? That's a learning process. And I'm okay with that. It sucks and it hurts at that moment, and it can really fuck with your team. But when you get through those types of things, the people that are here trying to really create chaos and you thought better of at the time, it's important to be able to kind of work through all of that terrible shit by having really good people to offset all of that stuff. And how that happens, dude, really how this whole thing happened is by uplifting other people. It has nothing to do with me whatsoever. None of this has anything to do with me. Yeah, sure. I put a name on it, right? And put some art together and stuff. But the real reason this thing comes together is because everyone knows when you come here, it's because you love and you are passionate about cannabis. That's the thing. And it's very easy to see the people who are not. Very. Because all I had to say we're all volunteers. As soon as I say that, you see things in people. Money turns people into doing things, right? And it's sort of transparent. Even though all of us want to get paid, we all know that. But as soon as I tell them that I am a volunteer at my own publication, things kind of show their head, right? People show their true selves at times. So that's one way to weed through some stuff and make sure that the people that are here participating and building something that will then be theirs actually love to do what we're doing. That allows for like real authentic stuff to come through. We also don't, when I post about a lot of stuff, when I say I don't do pay to play shit, what that means also on the other side of that is that writers get to write about what they love and they're passionate about. It's that simple. You can't do that anywhere else in a publication in this space, as far as I know of, or of any other fucking space, as far as I know of. So
you can do it here on the fine print. Yep.
There you go. So what I'm doing is we've built a platform for the small side, the backbone side, the small mom and pop equity legacy women and veteran owned cannabis businesses and voices to have a place to be heard and seen first. That was the mission. We uplift the plant by making that an actual thing, so that, the scale in which we live when it comes to cannabis has been dominated by corporate cannabis. There isn't any meaningful way that I can see, minus a couple of really good folks that are doing some dope shit. Beard Brothers, a few other people are doing some really dope shit. So if I can help step on that scale by just simply offering up the platform, which is what I did, and that's how people came here, that's how we got our writers. And I also talked to everyone individually, knowing my background and knowing where I came from and how I grew up and all of that stuff. You're not going to slide any bullshit past me most of the time. I'm not perfect. I'm not batting 1,000. I promise you that. But most of the time, having a conversation with me will tell me whether or not you truly want to be here. And again, it's by offering the platform. Because we have millions of views on our content every year, I'm not bullshitting. I'm offering the platform. This is your space in which you can be a part of to actually make a difference in the industry. So the small mom and pop folks actually have a place to really make a difference and be heard and seen. Not everything has to be a corporate mouthpiece. Not everything has to be dominated in this space by a bunch of dudes with money on Wall Street. That's just doesn't have to be the case. So guess what? That's what we're here trying to do. Having a platform, trying to grow the platform, and doing it in a way where we're also offering, dope ass fucking a dope ass magazine to do it through, dude. Right?
Pull them out.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is trying to build a publication that's actually fucking dope. You know,
I was hoping you'd pull those out. That's sick. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's the legacy edition. So trying to build a publication that the industry, the community, and culture can be proud of, to do good and positive in the space, slowly build the business side while we're doing that, making sure we have the right team in place. And really, that's kind of what we've been doing. That's how we've gathered our writers, allowing them to have a platform to share shit that they wouldn't be able to share anywhere else. There you go.
Excellent. I want to read a couple comments here. We got Aussie Kai, best boss ever. I guess she works for you then. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for watching, Aussie. Yeah, I appreciate it. I got Chef Rodney here. If you promise to pay me when you start making Skrilla, I'll start writing for you. Yeah.
So, yeah, check it out, dude. How we do that is, so again, first time ever, our writers, everyone got paid here for this past music edition. So as long as we're able, as long as I'm not funding things basically out of my pocket, we all get paid here, right? And think about this, Caleb. The first time I ever went to print, so even though we've been around almost 2 years, the first time I ever went to print is basically exactly 1 year ago, right now, tomorrow, whatever, it's here. So in order to do that, dude, I went and got a fucking credit card with a $10,000 credit limit and spent the entire thing all in one sitting to build this and get it printed. So that's where it actually came from, was a fucking credit card that I decided to go get so that I could print this thing. So up until all the way through for the past 2 years, we've had zero money here to do anything with. And so it's not like we're taking people's work and making money from it. What we're doing is gathering and collaborating everyone's work and sharing it in a way that's fucking dope and fun, right? That's what we're doing here. And as we build this fucking company in the right way, where we're not supporting companies who have lobbied against homegrown and caregiver rights, we don't allow people like that to advertise here. So guess what, guys? No True Leave, no Curaleaf, no Cresco, no GTIs. None of those folks can be here and advertise with us because they've lobbied against homegrown and caregiver rights. So what does that tell you? I have no fucking real money in this space, right? Because those are the people that have the real budgets to spend anywhere and everywhere they want. So as we slowly grow this thing into something that can support everyone involved, of course, everyone will get paid. That's how this works.
Cool. Hey, thanks for watching, Ronnie, by the way. Casey Renteria 10 minutes ago said, I second that. I don't know what that's in reference to, but thanks for watching, Casey. We got Jason Stefano here too. He's a 20-year New York police officer and 9/11 first responder. Thanks for watching, Jason.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jason.
You guys are looked at as one, if not the leaders of the industry. Yeah, also a Marine there. Thanks for watching, my man. Penny Lane, this will blow up at Biscon.
Yeah, we actually have right as long as it's back. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we don't do anything corporate cannabis, man. And look, to be honest with you, dude, that when people say, stuff about corporate cannabis and all that, I do my best not to totally bag on everyone, because everything that we push out of here is positive and uplifting. Remember our very first thing that we're here to do, and that's to uplift the plant into its rightful place into society, first and foremost. What does that mean? Positive, uplifting, supportive shit out of this publication. That's what it means. Because I'm not just talking to someone like you, Caleb, you and I, right? Stoners, people who fucking understand cannabis, want to be around cannabis, have been around weed, right? That's where we come from. I'm not just speaking to you through this publication. Dude, one of the differentiators of who we are is because, yes, science and education is important and we love that stuff and we share that stuff, but everything we do here is very personal. We add personal touches into everything that we release most of the time. So that means that I can speak to the people outside of this industry that do not understand the community and culture that's connected to this plant. Because as soon as you start talking about your 2-year-old at home who takes a broad spectrum product at night to control their seizures, or your 89-year-old grandmother who sits in her rocking chair, smokes a fat ass blunt because of her rheumatoid arthritis, that's when we start to win. That's when we talk to people from outside of this industry and pull them into the fucking plant. That's what we're here to do, man. And that's really how you do it. You connect personal cannabis stories to other people who not only like you and I understand the plant, but have never been connected to it, might be curious, have no fucking idea that there's a culture behind it. When you explain it to them in a very personal way that they can connect with, that's really, when we're winning. So the positive spin, the positive things about cannabis, which is everything in my opinion, for the most part, that's what we do here. That's what we focus on. So yeah, corporate cannabis fucking blows. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's a terrible idea. I think at this point, there's always going to be the Walmarts of the world, but that's not what we do here. We don't focus on them. They have their place at this point. I'm not really concerned. 95% of the entire industry is really controlled by the backbone, the small mom and pop, equity, legacy, veteran, and women. That's who control this. That's where it comes from. That's the backbone. The 5% are the big players that have, sure, the money and the voice at this point, at least the voice when it comes to government bullshit and lobbying and all that. Sure, they control things. But the actual industry part where, products are being made, products are being consumed and shared and marketed and all of that stuff, that's all of us. That's the small side of cannabis. We're the creatives, right? We're the entrepreneurs. We're the CEOs, the thought leaders. That's us, not corporate cannabis.
Preach. Yeah.
Nobody really wants to hear from them. They get to pay their way into stuff. Nobody cares. You can look at the industry and everybody will tell you that. We all know that. That's not even me talking shit. Nobody wants to hear from those folks. Everybody wants to hear from the growers, the OG growers, the people that are teaching and educating, the people that are in this space because they love to fucking be in this space. So that's what's up. That's who people want to hear from. And it's not people like me either, not media. We don't want to hear from fucking media. We want to hear from people who actually have their hands in the dirt, who understand the plant from a very personal perspective, and they can contribute in a way to the industry that uplifts everyone, the community and the culture side as well.
I'm with Dustin Hoxworth from Fat Nugs Magazine. Yep. I'd like to rip off a couple more comments here. I think we got, I Blanken or Jay Blanken, preach. Yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Her name's
Kai.
June.
Okay, cool. Thanks for watching, June. Chef Rodney said, Dustin, hit me up after the show. Caleb, great fucking show. Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate Penny Lane, Mad Hustle Dorsal. I do want to ask you about Biscon. I went out there last year.
Yeah.
I had a number of weed companies sponsor my trip out there, and I went and checked it out. It was a once in a lifetime experience. I think I've always wanted to go to Vegas, and I had a great time. Although the feel of MJ Biscon, it feels insanely corporate.
It's very businessy.
Yeah, and I was curious if you had any thoughts on that, or if you've ever been out to MJ Biscon at all.
Oh yeah, this is my third, or hold on, I think it's my third. So yeah, it's very businessy, but it's also one of those things where, it's a big mix of people that have been around the plant for a very long time, that are in the industry, that want to connect with each other. Biscon is it's really turned into this place of connections. Like you want to meet and see people that you've been interacting with in the industry. You want to hear some folks talk that you haven't heard talk before. You may not want to see the giant extraction machines and all that kind of stuff, and that may not interest you, but there are reasons to go. And it's really around. Cool,
actually, I walked through that section of the floor. Some of that stuff, I interviewed the guys from Green Vault Systems and a couple of those. That was fun.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying. Everyone can that, and that's the point. Everyone that goes to MJ Biz can find something different that they can actually enjoy. Even if it's not at the expo itself, all of the shit after and prior, the breakfast and brunches, the dinners and lunches and all the parties and stuff afterwards. Like all of that stuff is actually sort of fun every now and then. It's not like I get to hang out with a bunch of people and smoke weed very often, right? I'm stuck in a hole in my office 12 hours a day, mostly 7 days a week. So I don't get to do this kind of stuff very often. And it's a lot of times, a lot of us, it'll be the first time that we get to see each other ever. And we've been working in companies together for fucking years at this point. So this is a time to kind of do that. For the first time ever, I'll have my entire team in one place, except for when we went to Jamaica together a couple of months or about a month ago. I was missing a couple of my folks then as well. So, it's one of those things. There are reasons to go, whether it's very corporate or not. And it ends up being a sort of a love fest, for a better word. I don't really have a better word for it, where everybody just gets together that hasn't seen each other for the past year, and we talk shit and smoke some weed and have some fun. You can make it what you want it.
I got a lap dance. It was super fun. I've never been to a strip club before. First time in my life.
Yeah, no, see, I'm too old. I don't go anymore. I mean, in my 20s, 20 something years ago. But yeah, no strip clubs for me these days. But dude, I'm usually asleep by like 11 o'clock anyway. I don't party very well. I end up going to one after party. This time we're actually media sponsors for several things, which is something new for me. So really this time I'm more excited than ever because we're a part of things going on more than we've ever been. And I think it's dope for my team to be able to experience all that stuff as well and be a part of Blunt Brunch, be a part of the Golden Paddle Showdown and play some pickleball in Vegas, just something silly and different. And then being able to be a part of the underground party afterwards with the Sapphire Risk underground party. And look, Sapphire Risk can you get much more corporate than insurance stuff? No, but guess what? They invited us out with open arms, have treated us extremely well. And I've been very grateful to be able to bring my team in to network with people and just have some fun and do something different for once, dude. It's one of those weeks where you just get to do some different shit that you don't always get to do, regardless of whether or not it's corporate or you don't like it or whatever. You can find something wrong with anything you do these days. There's so many things that you can find at MJ Biz that are fun. Not only that, I'm going to the fucking Sphere while I'm out there, dude.
No, I got some free mushroom gummies. This guy out front just liked my shoes and gave me free mushroom gummies.
And away you went. All right.
And then got a lap dance. It was fantastic. It was a once in a lifetime. Yeah, I had a great time.
Dude. Hell yeah.
Here's Aussie. Having an open platform to create in is what makes Fat Nugs Magazine really shine.
Hell yeah. See, that's what it is. Open platform.
And here we go. Biscon is the equivalent of dancing with the devil, but the networking outside of the convention center is dope. I agree with that. That's where I met Ron Durbin, who's an attorney in Oklahoma. He was actually being thrown out of the convention, apparently. He bought a table right across from Metric, and he made Fuck Metric t-shirts. And
that's right. You told me this.
Yeah, Ron's a great guy. He's going to be coming back on the show in January. I got him.
That's some legendary. That's some epic legendary shit right there, dude. It really is. Go ahead, tell the story. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother.
It's okay. That's what happened. I was outside smoking, and I saw this guy just making a fucking scene, and I was like, I don't know what's up, but like people were gathering around him. There was like a big circle. And he was just apparently he was being thrown out. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought he was making a scene, but he was making a scene because he got kicked out. He paid for a table and they kicked him out. And so he was handing out Fuck Metric t-shirts outside and stickers. And I stopped and I was like, yo, can I get your name? Can I scan your fucking badge or however you do it? And he was like, yep. And I got a t-shirt and a sticker. And Yeah, that's how I met Ron. Ron's a great guy. He's doing some fantastic work down in Oklahoma, exposing some really serious shit with metric and the state regulatory agencies. Yeah.
I don't think anybody would be surprised, to be honest with you, man. I think metric's been sort of a thorn in a lot of people's side for a long time. It's kind of funny that someone would get a booth across from metric and then have fuck metric t-shirts. That's some pretty epic stuff, dude.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that table was open and he was like, yeah, it was, and I got it. Yeah.
That is hilarious. Oh, did he actually like seek it out specifically and say, I want that one? That is hilarious. Good for him, man. Whatever people got to do these days, dude. That's fucking hilarious.
We got Lee Vantine here. Any thoughts on the hemp industry, Dustin?
Yeah, I do. Great question. I love the hemp industry, and hemp is cannabis is hemp, right? It's all one plant. So, my thoughts overall are that people need medicine. It's plain and simple. And the government creating all of these stupid regs, laws and nonsense and hoops that people have to jump through, they're the ones to blame for any kind of issues going on. It's not any industry players themselves, unless, of course, they've been helping with, making things stupid. Which is always a possibility. But we have to remember that there are still 26 states that it is not truly legal yet. There are people in states where there is no real supply of high quality cannabis at all, unless your grower or you're growing it yourself illegally. So if hemp derived products allow people to have medicine, I am 100% for it. I do not give a fuck about anything else. Patients come first, and that's just how it is. And you also have to remember that some of these patients are veterans, right? People that have extremely
a lot of them are veterans.
Exactly. People that have extreme healthcare needs. So any stupid fight in the industry, internal fighting between cannabis and hemp or whatever you want to call it, is absolutely does not help anyone at all. And no one should be going after anyone when it comes to the hemp industry, in my opinion. Hope that helps.
Yeah, and it's this weird shit with like the farm bill. It's strange how they've separated hemp and like it's the same plant as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. And it just seems it's like this is what happens when you let people make rules who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, and look, people need to be able to people need to make fucking a living for their family, right? Put food on their table. And people need to be able to have access to medicine. So I see nothing wrong with the hemp industry. Again, it's the regulatory bodies that are creating these issues, not anyone else that is from inside the industry itself.
Oh, here's Lee. I have 40 retail stores in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia called Apotheca.
Love it.
Hey, Lee, maybe I'll hit you up sometime and we could chat, man. That'd be cool.
Yep, love it. We need to get some Fat Nugs Magazine in those 40 stores. We can talk about having a this dispensary partnership. That's what we do around here, brother.
Can you tell us where your magazine's at? Because I know you're getting it into dispensaries, and I'd like to know how you set out building those relationships and distributing your publication.
So distribution is where it's at, and that's really a heavy focus for me right now. It's really a sort of our next frontier of growth. So, digitally, we've reached, just in our first year, over 3 million people looked at viewed our content, which is dope. Right now we have 38,500 according to Google. Last Tuesday, I think I got that 38,500 views every month on the website. So we're getting the eyeballs. When it comes to the print publication, what's happened is everything is word of mouth, everything. So everything that I've been doing on socials, we've been creating on socials, all of the work that we put into the publication itself and people subscribing, what you see is people sharing. They'll share photos and all of that kind of stuff, and videos and all of that. So a lot of user-generated content, so to speak, is what that's called. And what ends up happening is it gets people interested. And so that's a word of mouth flood of what's happened. So in the over, I don't know, 175, 200 or so plus dispensaries that we've been in since our existence, not all of those, by the way, are every single time. What it is one-offs. A dispensary will come to us and say, hey, I need, 6 boxes for my 4 locations this time. You know what I mean? And they won't buy again on the next one. And they'll come out for the one after that or something along those lines. But what I've been focusing on and what's really important is that having dispensary partners is really critical to having a voice in this space. Having retail partners overall, whether it be gas stations or Barnes and Noble or whatever the case may be, is important, especially if you're in print, because having subscribers is dope and having one-offs here and there when it comes to distribution into dispensaries is great, but that's not going to get it done. And that's not going to make a big enough difference. So creating really good relationships from the foundations, like grassroots stuff. Here, let me help you. Hopefully you'll want to help us kind of back deal kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So so basically what I'm doing is building a network of dispensary partners. Our first real dispensary partner is Embark. If you don't know who Embark is, you should. They're in California. They are one of the most beloved dispensary groups that there is. They focus on small mom and pop local stuff, right? So they're connected to their community. They have a community focus, and they saw exactly what we were doing and wanted to be a part of it. And that perfect marriage of having a publication that supports the same things that an actual brick and mortar is supporting just makes sense. And so they're using it as a thank you to their loyal customers that come in, spend $75, $100 or whatever more. Here's the thank you. They slide a flyer inside, slide an offer or a coupon inside of it. And then it's a way to do some extra marketing and stuff as well. So they get to give it away. If they want to sell it, you're more than welcome to sell it. I also do this thing where it's only $3.75 a magazine. So if you buy a box of it for $150, you get 40 copies. You can do with it what you want. You can give it away for gifts. You can sell it for $4 and still make your money if you wanted to, anything. And so I'm looking for dispensary partners in the same way as I've been with sort of our writers and other contributors. Come be a part of what we're doing. Let us be a part of what you're doing and really mesh together as much as we can and be a part of the community and helping uplift each other. That's kind of what's going on. Embark is the first to really get that. We've had a few other conversations. Now, at the same time, dude, I started to try and bring in people to help me sell. I have to. And guess what? Even though I won't allow certain corporate cannabis companies to ever step foot anywhere near this thing and advertise because they've had their hands in lobbying, they've been, doing things like that, they're not good for the industry overall. I will allow them to actually carry the magazine in their locations.
Take the money. Yeah. Take their money.
It's not even about that. Sure. Absolutely. That absolutely helps. But you know what? Their fucking customers deserve timely, relevant content, authentic journalism, dope stories, and cool fucking art. Do they not? They absolutely do. And guess what? It also gives corporate cannabis a way to actually physically support the smaller side, the backbone side of this fucking industry and community. So I don't worry about whether or not we'll have distribution. But that's the type of distribution I'm looking for, which is real dispensary partners that understand what we're doing, and it really meshes well with their ethos.
Do you mind which state you're going in? Are you just looking for partners everywhere?
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. I mean, we're in 4 different countries at this point. It might be 5. Cool. Like I've shipped boxes overseas. Canada is a frequent ordering place. So, we're anywhere and everywhere. Shit. We've been all over Montana. We've been in Ohio. We've been in Missouri. We've been in Illinois. There are places that we've been 7 or 8 different states. California is the heavy one, obviously. Actually, Montana is the heavy one, and then California. that will continue to grow. I know it will, as long as we just continue to do the work and we're positively pushing cannabis. That's what we do here. I think we'll be fine.
Slap. I'm with Dustin Hoxworth, Fat Nugs Magazine. Yeah, it's great stuff, Dustin.
Thanks, dude.
Do you want to tell us about Jamaica?
That'd be dope, man. Jamaica was sort of life-changing shit, to be honest with you. If you don't know what Coral Cove Wellness is, please go check it out. It's the most perfect retreat for anyone that has ever loved cannabis, weed, stoner culture, whatever. It doesn't matter. And what I mean by stoner culture is real stoner culture, where you actually enjoy the moment. You are walking around free with a joint in your hand and no one cares. Like, everybody wants you to be smoking, right? You're welcomed. You're encouraged, all of that stuff. So when you first land, it's from the very first moment that you get into Jamaica. They come and pick you up in their van and they hand you joints for the ride. And of course there's, water and so there's a cooler of water and Red Stripe and, stuff, right? So you're enjoying your ride, you're drinking your smoke on the way. Halfway, you stop at a chicken shack, like literally a chicken shack, and have jerk chicken. So you're in the middle of Jamaica. It's fucking rad, dude. And then another hour ride. So it's a 2-hour ride into like the Jamaican mountain jungle area, basically. And when you get there, it's this sprawling, sort of very humble, but beautiful and well done compound in the middle of Jamaica, where locals and stuff are. But obviously it's its own space. And it's really great for the locals because that's who is employed there, right? So when you get there, they welcome you, they check you in, you get to your room, there's joints on your table, there's a grinder, there's a tray, there's an ordering form that you can check off and order more. And they constantly are asking, do you need anything? Do you want mushrooms today? Do you want those dry? Do you want them in tea? Do you want them in a smoothie? Here are your different choices. They had 4 different choices: Cambodian, Golden Teacher, a couple of others. So everyone had a chance every day. This is what happened. It's kind of like adult camp is what it is, but it's very nice. It's chill. It's welcoming. It's homey. It's rustic. But again, it's also nice. It's not your 5-star resort. This isn't Jamaica. You could be anywhere in the world. You're in Jamaica. You get to participate in Jamaica itself while also being on this sprawling ground that is basically a compound. There's only 20 rooms and all of us eat at the same time. So I took 14, 15 people there, my team and some friends and spouses and stuff and writers and that kind of stuff, our photographer. And they schedule 3 meals a day. So everyone eats together, authentic Jamaican meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in between that time, you go off and do your own thing. You can do yoga and stunt. Like, I smoked a joint while I was doing yoga. I tripped while I was doing yoga the next day, or maybe it was 2 days after that. Snorkeling. Obviously I was stoned snorkeling and stuff, right? I mean, and they have, the whole place is surrounded by coral. So there's fish and shit everywhere. It's really fucking cool, dude. They have a beautiful little pool. They have a couple of different bars. Everyone is super nice. But the most like authentic thing about it when it comes to cannabis and weed and being someone who loves to smoke and enjoy weed was that I could just do that anywhere, anytime I wanted. I didn't have to be in a 5-star resort and sneak to hit my pen or whatever, right? It was, I woke up with a joint. I walked out and watched the sunrise while I was smoking my joint. Then I went down and had some coffee and breakfast with my fellow travelers and smoked a joint, and we rolled a joint together, and all of that stuff. So everything is very welcoming and chill, and just something that I had never ever experienced. And I don't think anyone has ever experienced this. It's the only place that I know like it on the planet, where they have a dispensary on site. They're also offering you mushrooms. They're doing sound baths, massages, all of this next to the ocean, and it's fucking dope. If you can get there, if anyone that is listening and watching can get there, you need to do this. And it's the perfect place for retreats, for exactly a perfect place for retreats for companies. It really is. And it's not even expensive. It's it's less than anything you're going to do anywhere else in the world. I promise you that. And Jamaica is easy when you get there. The airport is not a big deal. Everybody is super chill. It's a fucking dope place, man. I really had, the time of my life with the 14, 15 people we had there for 5 days.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
It blew my mind, dude. And what I'm trying to do with them now.
Will you say the name of the place again for Jason?
Yeah. Coral Cove Wellness, and it's in Jamaica. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is really help them with their media stuff at this point. What we're going to end up doing is probably a 10 to 12 to 14 page spread in the health and wellness edition that'll come out in February of next year. Because they brought us all down, and they didn't even ask us to do this. They just brought us down and want us to experience this. And I was like, you know what? This is the dopest shit ever. This is what I'm going to do for these folks. This is amazing. So
yeah, it looked like you were hanging out with some growers and stuff. I saw some of the pictures.
Dude, absolutely. So there's a grower down there. His name's Wabba. And he used to work at Coral Cove with them, with their grow and helping them and all that kind of stuff, because they're all set up with greenhouses on the property. They can grow their own vegetables and all that good stuff that you can eat and that you use there on the property. It's fucking dope. But he used to work there, I think 5-6 years ago. Hadn't been back in 3 years, but he heard Fat Nugs Magazine was coming down. So he actually made 2 separate trips to come hang out with us, dude. He brought what you call as an idle steam chalice. I had never heard or seen one before, heard of one or seen one before. Have you? Idle steam chalice?
No.
Yeah.
What is that?
Dude, it's made out of coconut and bamboo, and it's basically the first ever vaporizer, so to speak. It's the OG way to smoke in Jamaica. The flame never touches your weed. It's the most flavorful thing I'd ever had in my entire life. It was by far the best way I'd ever smoked weed ever. Blew me away, dude. How
does that work?
Dude, I can't even explain it. It's like a bong, but in this little piece of pottery. At the bottom is all your weed. On top, you set a little thing where you put banana. Is it coconut chips? You burn coconut chips. Huh. And the heat while you're pulling, the heat from those that charcoal, so to speak, is what heats up your weed. So it only gets so hot, just like a regular vaporizer would, but this is better. There's no batteries or anything like that. And the flavor, I've never in my life had flavor like this in my life from weed. And it coated your mouth like it was fat. I'm not kidding. Like it left film of like terpenes and shit in your mouth. It was absolutely amazing. I was blown away by it. Everyone else was blown away by it. We have pictures and videos and all that kind of stuff. He sent me home with one, and I was like, oh my God, dude. So I brought home an idle steam chalice. He also, his grow, we hiked up into the mountain. And by the way, this dude owns like this fucking mountain, just so you know. I mean, it was, he's an OG grower. He's not one of those, supplying dispensaries. Let's just say that. So you pay to get on his mountain. You hike up the mountain, and he tells you about it. There's a guy who will tell you exactly. There's a guy who will tell you about it. It does matter. He'll tell you about the whole history of the place and what they're doing, and take you through sort of the genetics stuff that they're working on, all of that stuff, their mother area, all of that, and then take you to the actual grow itself. Beautiful plants, really cool to see out in the open on the top of a mountain, getting beat up by the elements. It was really cool to fucking see and be a part of. As a matter of fact, it rained like a son of a bitch while we were there. But that part showed me the real side of Jamaica, and that shit was dope. What up, Miggy?
What up, Miggy? Yeah, big up to Fat Nugs. Cool. That all sounded amazing. I love that whole story.
And he sent us home with seeds. He sent us home with seeds, dude. That was huge. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you get mushroom. You get to do mushrooms in Jamaica. That
Dude,
just sounds excellent.
Unreal. I tell you what, trying to do yoga on mushrooms is not easy. I was so off balance and stuff, dude. That was a challenge.
I'd try
But
it.
fun. But fun and good.
And
look, the place is really it's smart. It's quiet. It's fun, but it's not spring break, right? It's an adult place for people that want to go and relax and experience something that they've never experienced before. You're not going to, dance around and have, parties and blah, blah, blah. You're going to actually chill. You're going to want to chill because it's like peaceful and quiet, dude. And having a sound bath while you're doing yoga. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest places I've ever been. And I plan on ingraining Fat Nugs Magazine there as much as I can, to be totally honest with you.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
I'm trying.
Awesome. Dustin Hoxworth, Fat Nugs Magazine. I'm getting towards the end of the shit here. I wanted to ask you sort of what you see as the trajectory for this project in the next 5 years,
Sure.
Your ideal version of that. Yeah.
Yeah. To be in at least 1,000 locations every time we release a new edition. That's the goal. If that happens, that will allow us, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be dispensaries. It can be anything in everything. It can be grocery stores. It can be gas stations and so on. If we're able to do that at the current model that we have, that will actually change everything for the publication, where this becomes a real force to sort of be reckoned with, to be totally honest with you. I think we can make some waves in the space. We can sort of step on that scale a lot heavier and do things I think a lot of us never thought that this little publication could do. And honestly, I also would like to have a little bit of fun with it and support cool and dope things and be able to, right? And be able to be a part of stuff that actually helps and makes a difference. And, that's going to be the fun part about this, is using this publication the way that we do now is uplifting other people. I want to continue to do that, but in a bigger way. So hopefully over the next 3, 4, 5 years, we'll be in a situation where we can do that on a massive scale.
I'll be checking in with you.
Hell yeah.
We'll have to follow up. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Hell yeah. I'd like to have a piece from you, dude. We need to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. I'll get back to you real soon. I definitely talked to Tara about that.
Hell yeah.
Couple different ideas, and I'd love to do that.
Right on.
Before we get out of here, one more shameless slap, dude, for Fat Nugs Magazine, Dustin Hoxworth. If there's anything we missed or any shameless plugs or shout outs you want to give, or you plug your website or any of that shit, now is the time. It's been a pleasure having you on, Dustin. I really want to thank you for your time. Great conversation here. And yeah, I always leave the last word for my guests. So this is all you, man.
Thanks, man. Let me just tell everybody where you can find us. I think that's probably the easiest thing. And first of all, something we live by around here, cannabis culture welcomes us all. I actually believe that. I do live that. It does come with some caveats. We want you to understand what cannabis culture is, right? And what that means and all that good stuff, and why it's important to support. So really, you can just find us pretty much anywhere, whether it be on LinkedIn or Instagram. LinkedIn is Fat Nugs. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and of course our amazing team of some of the greatest people that I've ever been able to work with in my life, like Daniel Crawford, Tara, Kai, Rebecca, Casey, and Isabella. All of those folks are on Instagram and LinkedIn, and some of them are on Instagram. So you can find the entire team on LinkedIn. Fatnugsmag.com is the website. We're going to continue to do some dope shit. Look for the music edition. Comes out on this Friday, the digital version, and the print version actually comes out tomorrow, but it only lands here tomorrow. So I'll be sending it out first thing next week. So all of our subscribers will have those, all of our retailers and all that stuff as well. So look for the music edition. And if you're at MJ Biz, come find us, come hang out with us, come smoke with us, come snag a magazine. We'll have at least 1,000 or 2 out there at least. So yeah, hopefully everybody can get their hands on one.
Bang. Dustin Hoxworth, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Good luck with everything you're working on. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey, reminding you the devil's in the details, and the details are in the fine print.